All right, this is Introduction to Speech Communication. It's kind of a course introduction. I'm going to try to make it fairly brief. It'd be like a syllabus day, the first day of class when we come in. My name is Dr. Christopher Bradley. So on the assignments, I'll go over them briefly, and then we'll go over them more in depth when they're actually closer to being due. Basically, though, what this course is, a couple different things. It's Introduction to Speech. You'll be giving speeches. You'll be giving presentations. A lot of what this course is based on when I teach it is on experience. So I have you get as much speaking experience in front of the class as possible so that by the time we actually do the graded ones, that you feel comfortable and you are capable of doing the presentations well. Relatedly, showing up and following simple instructions. If you could show up, kind of pay attention, and follow simple instructions, you should do well in the course. People that try usually do get A's. So what is the course? How to communicate more effectively personally and professionally. It is a lot of what's called systematic desensitization, basically that we are getting you used to being uncomfortable. This idea that when you're doing public speaking, a lot of people feel very uncomfortable, and the only way to get over that, for most people anyways, the only way to get over it is just through repeated exposure to that stimulus to show you that it's not threatening, and that's what systematic desensitization is. You will learn how to construct, hopefully anyways, coherent arguments and how to present them and how to use citations. Citations are super important in this class. The ability to find legitimate information and present it to other people. It's not an easy A, but again, if you show up, follow simple instructions, you should do well. All sections are taught using the same materials for the most part. Like all the same sections have the same quizzes, the same assignments. So if there's something like, I don't like having these quizzes, I'm going to go take a different section. The quizzes are going to be in the same the other section too. So just making you aware of that. What do you need for the course? You do need to check the LMS regularly, the Learning Management System. You need to check it right with Canvas, Brightspace. It's always changing. D2L. You want to check it regularly, especially for questions. There is let me pull it up. Okay, it is right here. So if you go to the discussions, right here at the top, virtual office questions. If you have questions, general questions regarding the course, that's where you need to post them so everybody has the same information. There's an entire page on this in the syllabus. I'll get to it in a little bit. Cancellations. If for some reason, some of the classes we have will be synchronous, some will be asynchronous, but if for some reason I need to cancel a synchronous class, that's where I'll post it. I don't do a lot of email, but I do a lot of announcements. So one thing you might do is you can turn on notifications so that when I do post an announcement, it goes to your email. So if you're a person that doesn't like to check announcements but checks your email all the time, I would set that notification up. You'll need the course handbook. It's already posted on the LMS. And the textbook, if you go to the modules and scroll down a little bit, this one right here, this Pearson link, that should take you to the textbook. You're in a class where they've already charged you for the textbook. And if you want to get out of that and you're like, I don't want the textbook, I don't want to be charged for it, there's this opt-out link. I don't know anything about that. So if you're going to have issues with it, you are going to have to contact the Pearson support. So yes, check the LMS regularly. In the course, you got 3 quizzes: an informative speech, a small group presentation, a persuasive speech, research participation. There's also this other small assignment that I'll talk about in a little bit, speech is introduction that you do in pairs. Quizzes, there's going to be 3 of them throughout the semester. They are multiple choice. They're 30 questions each. They are you take them online. They're open book. They're pretty easy. Just kind of to let you know right off the bat, these quizzes are not going to be very important for you in the course because each one's worth 30 points. There's 3 of them. They're worth 90 points. The group project's worth almost 400 points. So the presentations are a way bigger part of the course compared to the quizzes. The first presentation that we'll do are the speeches introduction on later in the week. I'll team you up with somebody. You'll kind of interview them, get to know each other a little bit, and then you will give those presentation speeches the next class. I'll talk more about that in a separate video. Same with all these other assignments. I'll go into them more depth later on. The informative speech is one of the first speeches you do for substantial grade. You do a persuasive speech at the end of the semester, and right now we kind of mixed it up, and now we've got the small group presentation in the middle of the semester instead of at the end. It used to be the final project, and I was one of the people that's like, let's put it in the middle instead because the end of the semester is always so stressful for everybody, and then to add on this on top of that, a small group presentation that's worth 40%, 30% of your grade, it's not good. Most of you would rather have an individual assignment at the end compared to a group assignment. So we will have that. Attendance, don't have to worry about that this semester to a certain extent. So this class again is going to be what's called a hybrid class. About 75% of our class meeting days, we will do synchronously, we will do on Zoom, and I'll send you a link for that. About 25% of the classes, I'll have you go do something outside of the class, like watch a video, like we're going to do with this video. So you don't have to actually come physically to any class. You should log in for the Zoom classes on the day that I say that we're going to do those, because what we're going to do during a lot of the classes is going to be very interactive. It's not going to be me just giving lectures all day long and you just have to sit there and listen with your cameras off and all that. It will be interactive. You will be working. It's peer-to-peer engagement is what it's called. You will be working with the other students in the class to produce something. I actually have 3 practice group assignments that I have you do that a lot of people seem to enjoy because they're good topics that I give you. But they also, in previous semesters, students really enjoyed it because it gave them the experience to speak in front of the class, and then by the time we got to the graded ones, they felt good about being public speakers. And while we're going to be giving these presentations online through Zoom, it still can cause stress for some people, the idea of speaking over the internet to people that you can kind of see, and it's weird and it's awkward, and it is something that you have to get used to, just like you would have to get used to doing a presentation in front of the class. One reason that you do want to get good at these Zoom interactions like this is that a lot of interviews now are being conducted this way. And so once you graduate and you're trying to get a job, you may have to do it through Zoom. So you might get used to this type of learning or type of interactions. Point being, attendance. Normally in in-person class, we did have an attendance policy. We do not have that this year. There is a schedule in the course handbook posted, so look through that. Like today, or on Wednesday, you'll watch this course introduction video that I'm making. And then on Friday, we will start talking about the speeches of introduction. Monday, I'll have a lecture for you to watch, a video. That'll be asynchronous. And then next Wednesday, we'll do the speech introduction, and so on and so forth. Each week, I'll probably give you a brief little rundown of what's going on during the week. Key thing, check the LMS. If I make any changes to the schedule, that's where it's going to be at. Sona, you will need 2 credits. We can talk about that more later on. It's the research participation system. So we'll go through that at some point. Apprehension. Okay. I do talk a little bit about this normally in the in-person classes. If you are afraid of communicating public presentations, it's perfectly normal. The vast majority of people feel like that. So if you feel weird and awkward doing it, that's completely normal. So you shouldn't feel like, oh, I'm abnormal the way I feel. It's not. That's not true. Also, any fear that you have about not performing well, that apprehension, that fear can actually help you, can propel you to do well. Because if you're like, I'm very afraid of this, I have to do well, you're going to spend the time to make sure that the project is done well, and you're going to practice it and whatnot. It's the people that aren't afraid, that just get up and wing it, they're the ones that don't do well. The way also, again, I said this a little bit earlier, the way to get over that apprehension is to gain experience through systematic desensitization. If you are having problems and you're like, I can't get over all this fear that I'm having this semester, especially this semester this year, the first place I would suggest, if you don't mind going to campus, would be the Reboot Center. And you can pull that link up if you'd like. You can just search it, Reboot Center OSU. You can try that. And then also, if you're having extreme anxiety about something, you should probably contact counseling services. Also on the apprehension, so one good thing about it is we'll have several topics throughout the semester, and you get to pick those topics. So you get to own those topics. I'm not going to make you give a presentation on something you don't like, so you get to pick it, and that should also lessen your apprehension for taking the course. Again, also we'll have several ungraded practice assignments that will help you do well, and so you will get lots of experience before we actually get to the graded presentations. All right, so the task for this week, go look at the course handbook, kind of look over the schedule. You might register for Sona if you want to get ahead on that. Watch this video on Wednesday, and on Friday I will post a link for a Zoom link, and we'll meet up and we'll start talking about the speeches of introduction. If you have any questions, I have an entire page in the course handbook about that. It's right after the schedule. And basically what it says is that if you have questions, go post them in that virtual office. If they are about general class questions, like when's an assignment due? Can you help me with that assignment? I also have a teaching assistant this semester. So if you miss an assignment and you have documentation for it, like if you get sick and you weren't able to do the quiz, I don't know, whatever it is, if you have a legitimate documentable excuse, you can send it to the TA. If you have some kind of accommodations that you need, you can also send those to the TA. Now, If you have a personal matter that you need to talk about, anxiety, something like related to that, then you can send me an email. And if you put the title office hours, I'll make sure to see it, and then we could meet up for a Zoom meeting if you want. I have a, I didn't post it here, but it is posted in here, the Calendary for office hours. If you click that, I haven't actually went through this, so this is new to me too, but I think what it shows is the hours, my office hours, yeah. So they are on Wednesday and Friday, and you can click there, and then you can pick one of the meeting times. So if you're having, like, again, some type of anxiety issue, you could send me an email about it, or you can actually just go do this Calendary thing and be done with it. And then below this virtual office stuff is my contact info, and yeah, there's the Calendary thing. So you can go click that link right there, little bio, maybe some other resources if you want to look at those. All right, I think that's it. I look forward to seeing everyone in class on Friday. Thank you for listening.